Hey everyone, this is Brian. How's it going? Welcome to our second route building episode. We're looking at Cascade right now. This is where we left off on our last episode. In this episode, what I would like to do is clean up the town of Cascade, make it look more like a town than just a scattering of buildings. And we'll also make sure that we've gotten the track work right. There may be some modifications to the track work to facilitate industries that we might put in here. But before we get into Cascade, I want to go out and finish up the work on the track work and also get these roads all fixed up. So with that said, let's go ahead and get going with this. I think that's gonna get our telegraph poles, I should say, fixed. We should have a nice clean run all the way down the route here. You see how the road is broken. One of the nice things about a large route like this, it will provide years of special detail projects as we fill in the landscape. So I think I'm going to start over on this side, and then we will move over to the other side of the tracks. So right now what we're trying to do is get the roads all connected back up with each other. There we go. Then we'll get our utility poles up. There we go. Control Z is the key format on your keyboard that is also the undo. And let's get rid of this bridge. There. Let's go here. Let's get rid of this. There we are. When we rebuild the town, we'll figure out what we're going to do for that bridge. There we go. like we may have some texture work to do to restore these farms. Okay, that gets us all the way over to here. So now I want to grab our utility poles. And we'll run the utility poles up. These are the USA utility poles. There we go. Yeah, the original update of this layout when I was running in Trainz 2019, before I so efficiently deleted that route. Let's get in here. We're gonna want to set this up so that we can add poles in there. When I was working on that route, I actually had updated the route all the way down to Grand Junction, had rebuilt all the towns going down, including Grand Junction, and changed them all from just a collection of buildings to streets with buildings, etc. And had fun running the layout, actually, as I was testing it and trying to look for anything I had missed. And then, of course, when I efficiently deleted it off my system, I had to start all over again. So, fun stuff. I'm thankful, though, that I had a copy of the final Trainz 2010 version of the route, because that's the map that I ported into Tane and then into 2019. And that actually is the seed that was used, the map that was used to import into 2022 when I upgraded to this version of Trainz. And as I've said in previous episodes on the channel, this route started in Trainz 2004. It was talked about in my old train simulator magazine that I published in the early 2000s when train simulation was a brand new thing. And we had several articles talking about building a basically a fictional prototypical route based on my HO gauge layout when I was a kid. That layout was a 5-foot by 9-foot layout. It was originally built to go under our Christmas tree one year, and then my dad and I moved the layout to the basement. It had been cut in half in order to maneuver it around the house, and so we fixed all that with the framework that we sat the table on. And that layout lasted till I moved out, basically, and then it was torn down. And the idea for this particular layout basically started with the idea of, wouldn't it be fun to build that layout on a topographical map of the locations that it would have existed in if it was actually a real railroad. So that's what I started downloading off the internet was the topographical or DEM data of the various maps for the areas that this railroad covers. And that is what produced the map that we are looking at this point in time. I've learned a lot about route building over the years, and this railroad, as we make progress down the map, you'll probably see some of some of what I've learned along the way, because there are areas I think that are done better than others, and a lot of that is also equates to the amount of time I'm willing to put in to the route building. So making a video, this may help keep the focus on really cleaning this layout up so it looks nice. So give me your thoughts in the comments. And the reason I'm in the old classic Surveyor is because that's what I started with in the older versions of Trainz, and it's laziness on my part. I just didn't want to spend the time learning a new tool. My next route that I build, I'm touring, one of my favorite railroads is the Baltimore and Ohio, and I'd love to build a Trainz route on demographic data. Basically, that if I ever do that route, I'm going to use the new Surveyor 2.0 to build that. And I want to use that new Trainz demographic tool to build that layout. I forget the name of it, Transdem or something like that. And you can put it in the comments. I know that I purchased it, so I've got a copy of it on my system. I just need to sit down with it, and I think that's going to make it a lot easier to build that B&O route. This route is all freelance, so it didn't matter if I could properly align the tracks, because I had to basically figure all that out on my own, since this railroad doesn't exist in real life. And with that said, we've got our roads fixed. I'm noticing, if you notice when you zoom out, we have these like grid marks, and these are textures. If you look at them, let's see what this is. Dry long grass, and this is prairie grass seasonal. So this is what I would want here, because I want the ground to all be textured, because what we want is when we go in here and we put this to 0, we want all our textures to turn into snow. Of course, this gray line's going to stay here for now, because that's our border with Module 1. See, even our track turns snowy. So that's basically what it looks like in the wintertime. That was one of the features I really wanted, and I liked in Tane when they started introducing those. Okay, so I'm afraid that this work is probably going to have to come into here, isn't it? No? Doesn't really do that. Yeah, this grid is in here too. I don't know why it does that. Very annoying. Well, I don't want to get sidetracked into that work um, in this episode. But should go ahead and clean this up just so that oops, Control Z. Let's grab this and that's all we have to do here to get rid of that. One thing that'll be good though is I think it'll help us locate where the farm fields are located. And before we release this route, we'll go into module 1 and we'll get these textures cleaned up also. So now here, you look at this. This is a field. As cane. So this is not seasonal. So if I come in here, lower the snow, what we'll see, we should see these should remain. So we don't want that. That's not the look we want. But I don't like this is not seasonal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and we are going to find ourselves a seasonal that looks similar to this. So this looks pretty similar. So let's go ahead and use this. Go across, because that's what this seems to be doing. Looks like we can go all the way over here. Get a block done, and let's see if there's a quick way to do this. I'm curious if in our tools I can select, and I want the textures, but I don't want anything else. Okay, so let's see, what does that do? There, so this will make that a lot easier to deal with. There we go. we go. Looks like this is where this field is going to end. Go up this border right here. And then we'll probably do something different for the next farm. Okay, so there's that. There's that. There we are. All right, now let's get back over here so we can do some detail work. There we go. There's this. There we are. There we are. And we'll do a different thing there. Let's get this fixed. There's that. There we go. Looks like a farm now. Now let's see what these are. Okay, that's also the cane. We want to do a different color over here, I think. This is also a seasonal. How does that look? That's a PBR. Let's go in and fill up a square here. We'll do the same thing we did on the other side. This is taking a little longer than I expected, so I don't know if we'll get to the town. Let's redefine our square here. This is what we want. That's all we want, so we'll go like that. Go ahead and there we go. Oops. There we go. There we go. Okay, so let's go down here. There we are. There we go. And then we need to clean this up a little bit since we kind of bled through. Let's get him a little bit smaller so we have a little bit better control. And then we will fix our road bed. And then let's go over here. There we go. Oops, that's not what we want. There we go. Get rid of these grids. Let's see, that's another farm. Now we put a crop in here. Back to our seasonal. We have 8 minutes. Let's see. Let's put that in here. And the tools. And there we go. Now we're off. That'll take care of our items over here. Yep. You better not. There we go. Okay, so there's that. Yeah, let's get this. Actually, no, I think I'm going to paint that. There we go. There we go. Okay, so now we can do this. There's that. And we have some crop infringement here, so let's fix that. There we go. So there we go. There's that. That. There's that. Okay, I think, let's see, we should have everything up there. So now let's take a little run by from the border here, and then we will wrap this episode up here. The fun part of this will come when we've finished our scenery edits, and we can run a test run with some work trains. I'm going to leave these towns alone since they don't have any, they're just scenery. They're just to break up the monotony of the scenery. So I'm not really going to invest into detail. Of course, if you download the route, if you would like to improve those little towns that I'm ignoring, you're free to do so. And if you make any improvements to the layout, feel free to do that and share them with me. Share them with me before you release it, so that if I like the changes, what I don't want to do is end up with routes, numerous Utah and Rocky Mountain routes on the DLS. I'd like to keep everything in one map if possible. So if you do have any improvements, work with me and we'll get them incorporated into the master map, so that people don't have an issue with getting on the DLS and trying to figure out which is the route I should download. So looks like we have some work over here to do, and I think on our next episode we will go ahead and pick up over here. This is a new farm, so I'm going to change the and that's the alarm telling us that the episode is done. This will be a different crop that we'll put in over here since it's a new farm. But this is where I'm going to leave it for now. Our next episode will continue our painting of the scenery, and hopefully get into Cascade so we can start laying out that town and its industry. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I encourage you to subscribe to the channel and hit like, hit the bell that lets you know when these videos are released. Your subscription is really valuable. It helps the algorithm to promote the channel so that we can grow the channel. And if you like this type of content, I'm asking for your help and support, and that is in the form of subscribing to the channel. It costs nothing, and you will help guarantee that this type of content continues on YouTube. With that said, I will see you on the next episode. Bye.